Hello, viewers. Welcome to Fitness and Tech Insights. Okay, so today we will solve problem on principles of tangency. Okay, so of course we always start with showing you our drawing instruments. We have our compass, our set squares, ruler, and pencil. So these are the basic instruments we'll be using for this particular problem. Okay. Now the first thing I want to do is to draw my horizontal and vertical axis. So because I'm going to be using it as reference plate for the drawing. So I'm starting with the horizontal line. So I have drawn my horizontal line again, and then I'm also going to draw the vertical line. So I'm going to use this axis as my reference axis. Okay, so I have drawn my vertical axis also. That's the vertical line. Okay, now the first thing I'm going to do is, if we pay close attention to this shape we want to draw, we are going to discover that we have two base circles. We have two base circles of diameter 50 mm sitting on a line 12 mm above the horizontal axis. So the first thing I'm going to do is, from the horizontal axis, I'm going to mark 12 mm on that my vertical line, and on that 12 mm mark, I'm going to draw a line that will be parallel with my horizontal axis and 12 mm above the horizontal axis. Okay, so after that line, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw these two lines of angle 30 degrees that make 30 degrees with the vertical axis. Okay, now since I want to draw 30 degrees with the vertical axis, I'm going to use the 60 degrees side of my set square. I'm going to use the 60 degree size of my set square, and then I'm going to draw a 60 degrees line on the right of the vertical axis and another 60 degrees line on the left of the vertical axis. Now, you all know that the angle in a quadrant has angle of 90 degrees. So when I draw 60, when I remove 60 from the 90, I have 30 degrees left. So since my set square draws the angle with reference to my horizontal axis, that means I'm going to draw the 60 with the horizontal axis, and it automatically becomes 30 with the vertical axis. Okay, so I have both lines, one 30 degrees on the right of the vertical axis and the other 30 degrees on the left of the vertical axis. Okay, now I'm going to mark out, I'm going to find the center of these two base circles, and looking at these two circles have a diameter of 50 mm, the center should be on a line 25 mm above this 12 mm line. So from that my 12 mm line, I have marked out 25 mm on that same vertical axis. So I've marked 25 mm, which is the radius of this circle, or the radii of these two base circles. So from this my 25 mm point, on that my 25 mm point, I'm going to draw a horizontal line that is going to be parallel with the 12 mm line and 25 mm above it. Now, where this line cuts the two 60 degrees lines that I drew earlier, now that point of intersection between this line and that 60 degree line becomes the center of this base circle. So I have one point on the left of my vertical axis and the other point on the right of my vertical axis. So now from the one on the left of my vertical axis, I'm drawing a base circle of diameter 50 mm, which is radius 25 mm. Now I'll repeat, I'll do the same thing for the point on the right side. So I'll draw another circle of diameter 50 mm. Okay, since from the drawing, since the circles were not completed, so there's no need drawing the complete circle. So we are just going to stop each circle where it meets the vertical axis. Okay, I have my two base circles, so I'm going to draw the inner circles of diameter 22 mm. So I have my circle of diameter 22 mm on the left, and then I'm going to repeat the same circle using the center point at the right hand side. So I have completed the second circle on the right side, the second circle of diameter 22 mm. Okay, now the next thing, from this our reference plane, that's the base of the horizontal and vertical axis, we are going to draw an arc of radius 95 mm. We'll draw an arc of radius 95 mm. If you look to the right side of this drawing, you're going to see, look at the bottom right side, you're going to see an arc of 25 mm that cuts the center of these two circles. Okay, so we're going to draw the arc. Okay, now look at the arc. Now the point where this arc cuts this 95 mm, this 95 mm with this arc, and the point where it cuts the two 30 degrees lines, you can see it cuts it, one on the right, the other one on the left. Now there we've put a horizontal line. Now that horizontal line we put there will serve as center of these concentric circles of diameter 25 mm and diameter 12 mm. Okay, so we have obtained 3 points for these 3 circles. We have 3 from the diameter 12. So it means that the outer circle has diameter of 25 and then the inner one has diameter 12. So we are going to draw the 3 circles from the 3 points we just obtained. So I'm starting from the one on the right. I have drawn the first circle. I've drawn the first circle of diameter 25 mm. So at the point at the middle where the vertical line cuts the new horizontal line we just drew, we use that center and draw the middle circle of diameter 25 mm. And then we proceed to the last where the 30 degrees line by the left of the vertical plane intersects with this our new line. So we draw the third circle. Okay, so now we want to mark out 6 mm being the radius of the 3 next circles we want to draw. Since it has a diameter of 12, so the radius is definitely 6. So now we've marked out 6 mm. We're going to use the same centers and then we draw 3 other circles. Okay, now the next thing we want to do, we want to get the center of this circle that are 32 mm. That's two concentric circles, diameter 32 and diameter 16. So that's by the left side of the vertical axis. We want to get the center. So now what we are going to do is this our 30 degrees with the vertical, the one by the left side, we are going to bisect it to get 15 degrees. Since the center lies on the line that is 15 degrees, that makes 15 degrees with the vertical axis. So we are going to bisect the 30 degrees that by the left side of the vertical axis. We are going to bisect it, and then we use it to get the center of these two concentric. Okay, so we have a new angle 15 degrees with the vertical. Now we are going to mark, we are going to draw 128. Look at the left side of the drawing, the bottom left side, you are going to see the arc. We are going to draw an arc of radius 128 degrees from our reference plane. And wherever this arc cuts this new 15 degrees line we just drew, becomes the center of the two concentric circles we want to place. Okay, so that's the 128 radius arc we just drew now. You can see that the arc cuts the 15 degrees line. So that point of intersection becomes the center for these two new circles we want to draw. So from this point of intersection, we draw, first of all, we draw a circle of diameter 32, that's radius 16, and another circle, a concentric diameter 16, that is radius 8. Okay, so that's our circle of diameter 16 mm. Now, at this point, if you look at this drawing very well, you will discover that we are done with the circles. Okay, so we are done with the circles. Now, we are entering into the main challenge of this drawing, which is where the tangency principle actually applies now. So now we want to start drawing the arcs that will be touching these various circles at different points with different radii. Okay, so now we are going to take a little consideration. We are going to make a little consideration. We look at this thing carefully and we'll discover that most of the arcs we have here are external arcs. Most of these arcs, most of them touch these circles externally. So this means that basically we are going to be adding their radii. So we are going to be adding their radii. So for any arc of any given radius that is touching any circle that we already know the radius of the circle, so we just add up their radii from the two center points of the from the center points of the two circles they touch, and then we use them to draw arcs. Where the two arcs bisect, we use the center and draw the arcs. So the principle is pretty simple. It may sound a little bit difficult now, but when we do the first one, second, and third, you will get used to it. Okay, so now for the first arc we want to draw, now we want to draw this this first tangent we want to draw. We are going to the arc of, now you're going to see the arc of radius 32 by the left side, the arc of radius 32 by the left side. So now from the center of those two base circles, we are going to use radius of 57. Now the radius of 57 is 32, which is the radius of the arc, plus 25, which is the radius of this circle is going to touch. So we use it to draw an arc. And then from the center of the other circle, one of these 25 diameter circles, the one on the left, because that's the circle is also going to touch. Now from that center, we're going to use radius 32 plus radius 12.5, and it's going to give us 44.5. So these two arcs we drew, so this is the radius 44.5 arc. So we are going to use it to cut the previous 57 radius arc. So their point of intersection gives us the center of this new arc we want to draw. So we are going to put our compass at the point of intersection. Then we mark out what is the radius of the arc is 32. So we mark out 32, put it at the point of intersection of these two arcs, and then we use it to draw an arc that will touch the two circles tangentially. Okay, so from that point of intersection, I have marked out 32 so I'm putting it there, then I just drew an arc. Okay, so you see that this arc just touched the two circles externally. So I'm going to go to the next one. Now the next one is the arc of radius 35. That's the next one I want to draw. The arc of radius 35. That's just by the right of this one we just drew, and for the same two circles. You can see for the same two circles. So the same two circles, we want to draw another arc that will touch them from the other side. So it's still the same process. Now the difference now is that now the radius of the arc we want to draw is 35. So now from the center of my base circle, I'm going to use radius 35 plus 25. 35 is the radius of the new arc I want to draw. 25 is the radius of the base circle. So 35 plus 25 gives us 60. So from the center of the base circle, the one by the left, I'm going to mark out 60 and draw an arc. Okay, so that's my 60 That's my 60 and I draw an arc with it. Okay, now for the second arc that will bisect this, I'm going to use radius 35 plus 12.5. That's going to give me 47.5. That will give me 47.5. Now I'm using 35, which is the radius of the new arc we want to draw, and 12.5, which is the radius of the circle that this arc is going to touch on the other end. So I've marked out 47.5. Marked out 25. So I'm going to try to draw another arc. Okay, so I'm going to extend the first arc of 60 radius. I'm going to extend it so that it will touch this 47.5 I just drew. Okay, so I've just extended my 60 so I have an intersection point. So from that point where the two arcs meet, I'm going to use a radius of 35, and then I'll draw a tangent to touch the two circles. Okay, so I have my second tangent. So the third one, I want to draw the arc of 22 So I want to draw the arc of 22 is still is still on the left side of this my vertical plane. So now, since I want to draw an arc of radius 22 mm, so from the center of the first circle, I'm going to use 22 plus the radius of that circle, which is 12.5, and then from that center of the 12.5 radius circle, I'm going to draw an arc. 22 plus 12.5 is 34.5. So I'm going to draw an arc of 34.5 radius from the first center, and another arc of 22 plus 16, which is 38 radius from the center of the second circle, and then where the two arcs intersect, I'm going to use that center and draw a radius of 22, which will draw an arc of radius of 22, which will touch the two circles again externally. Okay, so that's my first arc, and this arc is radius 34.5 mm. 34.5. Okay, and the second arc, radius 38. You can see that I have an intersection point. So the point where these two arcs meet, I'm going to use as center for this arc of radius 22. Okay, so now with radius 22 mm, I'm going to draw an arc to touch the two circles. Good. So you can see my arc very well drawn. So now we move to the fourth arc. And for this one, I want to draw the arc of radius 25. So now we want to draw the arc of radius 25. You can see it, just the arc that is just by the right of this one we just drew, a little bit below it, the one that touches the two circles of diameter 25 mm. So for this particular arc, from the first center, I'm going to use radius of 25 plus 12.5. 25 is the radius of the new arc. So that's 37.5. Okay, so this is 37.5 from the first circle, and I'm using the same 37.5 from the center of the second circle, and then where the two arcs meet, I use it as center, and then I'll draw an arc of 25 mm radius to touch both circles. So this time around, the dimensions, the two circles are the same. The two circles are the same in dimension, in diameter. So that's why first point, that's why I'm using the same values, that 7.5 for the first arc and second arc. Okay, so that's our 25 mm radius arc. Okay, now we move to the next one. We move to the next one. The next one, we want to draw the radius 32 mm arc. That is just by the right side of this one we just drew, not the external, not the one at the top, not the 32 at the top, the one that is by the somewhere that is by the right, just by the right of this one we drew. That's connecting the 25 mm diameter circle at the vertical axis and the 50 mm diameter base circle at the right. So that's the one we want to do. Okay, so for this one, from the first point, we use radius 32 plus 25. So from the center of the right base circle, we are going to use 32 plus 25, which is 57. So from the center of the right base circle, we are going to use radius 57 mm to draw an arc. And then from the center of the other circle, okay, so this is the circle of radius 57. that's our 57 radius circle from the center of the right base circle. Okay, so I'm trying to extend this arc so that when I draw the next one, they are going to intercept. So that's why I'm extending the arc. Okay, now, and then from the center of the second circle, I'm going to use a radius of 32 plus 12.5, which is 44.5. So for the second arc, I'm going to use a radius of 44.5, and from the center of the circle, and I will draw an arc to cut okay. Now I have two radius 32, and they are the same. The dimensions are the same. So I want to draw them. I want to draw the two of them together. So I'm going to be pretty fast with that. Okay. So now I'm using this radius 25. I'm using the arc. I'm using the 44.5. I'm using the 44.5 radius arc. So I'm using it twice so that I'll be able to draw both arcs quickly. Okay, so now for the first one, the one by the right, they reduce 32 by the right. So I've drawn the arc. That's the point 57 and 44.5. So I've drawn this, and then the second point of intersection, I'm going to use the same radius 32 to draw another arc. Okay, so with this makes it faster since the two arcs have the same dimension. Okay, so that takes care of the fifth and the sixth tangent. Now, for the seventh tangent we want to draw, now this looks a little bit dicey. Now we are giving it r, and the value of the r was not specified. So now we are going to draw the tangent. We are going to draw an arc. So we are going to draw an arc that will be tangential with this circle. So you see that this arc is tangential with that 25 diameter circle that is by the right of our vertical plane. So now this arc is actually, if we check, we have the one that passes through the center of the circle is 95. So this arc of radius r has a radius of 95 plus 12.5, which is the radius of this circle. So this our r is 107.5. That's the radius of this arc we just drew. That's 107.5. Okay, so now finally we want to draw the other external arc that is going to touch this our radius 107.5 arc. So now from the center, so what I'm going to do is that from this my reference plane, I'm now going to use radius. Okay, I'm going to use from the center of the first circle, I'm going to draw an arc of radius 32 plus radius 16. Okay, so I'm going to draw this, and then from the reference plane, I'm going to use radius of 32 plus 107.5. I'm going to use plus 107.5 to draw another arc to cut my 48 radius arc. Okay, so I have the center for the last arc, so I'm going to use that center and draw an arc. Now this arc is going to touch the 32 diameter circle and the 107.5 radius arc externally. Okay, so that is it. That's what we have. So that's the last arc we have. Good. Okay, so I think we are done with this drawing. So so this clearly marks the end of the drawing. So now we are going to try and thicken the arcs so that we will get a very bold outline. Okay, so now we are trying to thicken our arcs, and then we are trying to outline everywhere necessary. Okay, so that is it with tangency. Just like I said earlier, with these three principles of tangency, you can tackle any tangency problem. So don't forget to get to the comment section and tell us what you think about the drawing. Peradventure you have any question concerning any part of the drawing, maybe there is an arc. You know, we have a lot of arcs and plenty circles, and that's the confusing part of principles of tangency. So in case there is an arc, you're confused, or you don't know how we drew the arc or how we found the center of the arc, feel free to come to the comment section and drop your comments, and we are going to attend to every bit of your comments. Okay, so I think we are done with this drawing. So we have come to the end of this class. So please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So I'm hoping to see you in my next video.